Get ready. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Start. The prices of essential commodities are very high and life for everyone is very hard. We live, therefore, under threats of strikes which, if they come off, are bound to paralyze our development schemes, to say nothing of the inconvenience caused to citizens and the financial loss which the country's exchequer can certainly not support. In view of the steep rise in prices, the Pay Commission is bound to recommend some kind of relief. I personally am glad that a commission has been appointed, because whatever restrictive or penalty legislation is brought in, it can never make for general contentment and well-being, either mental or physical. And without these, there can never be any enthusiasm in the hearts of the workers, nor any industry on their part. Now, why has there been such a steep rise in food prices, and why is the government unable to control the same? Production figures, we are told, have not gone down. We have had good harvests last year. Then where has the food gone? Is inflation responsible to a large extent for this debacle, or are our figures for production wrong, and how much of our food grains have gone underground into the hands of black marketers? Why cannot government bring these antisocial elements to heel? These are questions which have to be faced squarely. Increase in salaries will cost the exchequer hundreds of crores of rupees. Where is the money to come from in addition to what is needed for the plan? As far as salaries are concerned, the time has come, I think, for government to fix a minimum wage for the worker and to give him relief in the shape of free primary education for 2 of his children, old age pension, free living quarters, fair price shops, rather than dearness allowance. I feel the moment anybody's salary is raised, he is inclined to spend more. A socialistic pattern of society means, as I understand it, a society where everyone has food, shelter, clothing, and employment, and equal opportunities for his material, moral, and spiritual development. If the salaries of our workers are fixed at a reasonable minimum and the other relief given to them, I think we shall be fulfilling one of our main objectives, that is, an improved standard of life for millions. I have often felt that perhaps we lay too much stress on our big projects. Sir, I have just mentioned the antisocial elements that succeed in hoarding and black marketing our food grains, but if I may be permitted to say so, antisocial elements have penetrated everywhere. Food and drug adulteration are rampant in spite of laws, and likewise one hears on all sides complaints of bribery, corruption, and nepotism, and if we are honest, we shall have to admit that integrity and efficiency are our biggest casualties. This sorry state of affairs has to be put right if we are to progress. Of course, efficiency and integrity go hand in hand, as do their opposite numbers. True patriotism demands today, more than at any other time, high standard of integrity and efficiency, and in their restoration both the public and the government must make common cause. If the public demands standard of integrity from the government machinery, it must set standards of behavior for itself too, for the lawbreaker or the bribe giver is just as, if not more, guilty as those whom he tempts. Criticism is always easy to indulge in, but is not always helpful. Therefore, I put forward certain concrete suggestions last session for the consideration of the finance minister, which, in my humble opinion, would provide permanent sources of revenue in addition to, and in some instances, to replace what he is tapping. The reply which the finance minister was pleased to give to the two suggestions regarding the levying of excise duties on liquor and salt was not convincing. If he will pardon my saying so, I for one do not mourn so much over the loss of revenue to government as I do over the dishonesty that prohibition by law brings in its wake. At the same time, why should the money that the government needs so badly go into the pockets of unworthy elements? Sir, man would accept the hardest discipline if he could be convinced of the rights of the measures imposed on him. But man will always question the validity of rules if he does not know their source, because he can only think morally if he is improved from within. The goal to improve man does not consist in making him go through the gestures of morality. If moral rules are arbitrarily imposed, no matter what their practical value is, they will never fight successfully against the inherent weaknesses of human nature. Educate him, persuade him, show him that you care for his welfare, and he will follow you. Bring the heavy hand of the law of the country down on him, and he is bound to try to evade it.